Welcome back to Other People's Lives. I'm Joe Santagato.
I'm Greg Dybeck.
And we just want to give a quick shout out to all our patrons at patreon.com/OPL show. When you sign up for our Patreon, you get bonus episodes as well as access to a Discord channel where we can talk to some of our guests after episodes have dropped.
Yes, today we are speaking to a woman with a sneeze fetish. So thank you for being on the show. And to kick things off, this is a sexual fetish?
Yes.
So sneezes turn you on?
Absolutely.
Please elaborate.
Yeah, I need to know about this because I feel like sneezing for the most part is just kind of like, I don't know. In a way, people are grossed out by sneezes.
I know. It's their loss, I guess. But for me, so sneeze fetishes are different for a lot of people. Some people get turned on by like sneezing themselves. But that's not my thing. I like to hear or see other people sneeze. Yeah, it just turns me on when I see it or hear it.
So like, what makes a good sneeze? Like, do you not like when people kind of hold it in? Because like, my sister, she'll sneeze and it sounds like a mouse. Like she'll, like it just sound. But do you like outward sneezes? Like something?
Yeah.
Like what is it?
So everybody's interest is different. Everybody has a different opinion on this. Everybody in my community, I should say. For me, yes, I absolutely hate it when they hold it back. It's like, you have this great chance for something amazing and they just like take it from you. I also hate those sneezes that, when somebody sneezes and it kind of sounds like a cough and people are like, oh, did you sneeze?
Yeah.
And you're just not sure. That's annoying. I want the full achoo.
You want the achoo. Got it.
I do. I want the whole thing.
So the louder the better.
I would say it's in the middle is good. Because
Okay.
you get that dad sneeze where like they're just screaming.
Yeah.
That's no fun.
So, how do you discover something like this? Or what was the first time for you where I guess someone sneezed and you realized, whoa, I'm aroused?
Well, there's two specific examples. I really didn't figure it out until like high school when like people were sneezing around me and I was like, oh shit, I'm kind of into this. But after I really figured it out, I can remember very specifically a time when I was like 8, like so young, before you even really know what being turned on is. My friend and I were watching a movie and she was like, hey, do you ever get that weird feeling when like the main characters kiss? Like it's just such a weird feeling. And I'm like, yeah, but I get it when they sneeze. Isn't that weird? And neither of us knew what we were talking about. But I very specifically remember that.
Wait, do people sneeze in movies?
Yes. Not often,
Kind of
but it
question.
happens.
That's I just like.
Well,
thought,
I guess it is rare, yeah.
Isn't that like I just thought of that right now. Like I didn't really think people sneeze in movies like that, but yeah, I guess they do.
It's not enough, and it's usually really fake. But they
It's
do.
not enough. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so your friend is seeing people kissing and I think, what did you say, 8 years old or 8th grade? Or
8 or 9 when you're
Right,
you
right,
don't
right.
know what that is. You're like, I get
Right.
this weird feeling.
It's that it's bubbling up your loins. You're wondering what's going on here. Something's changing. And so you felt that, I guess you could call it confusion at that age when people sneezed around you. Wow. Does it matter who sneezes? Like the sex of the person?
Yes. Oh my God. So not only, I would say for the most part, it helps if I already find them attractive, but it's really got to be people I'd probably be attracted to. Like for me, I'm into men sneezing because I'm a straight woman. But if it's like my mom or a child, that's not happening. Like,
Right.
that is not a thing that's shut down. So it kind of has to be somebody within the realm of possibility.
Okay. Well, that gives it good perspective because that's just like any form of arousal. Like,
Right.
Yeah. You're not going to like, I'm not going to see my mom's nipple, and it's not like every other nipple, obviously. So
It's kind of the same thing where like if my mom sneezes, I'm like, ugh, like stop it. Kind of like if you did see that.
oh yeah, because wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, Mom, stop trying to be hot. Like we
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
like-
You have allergies. Stop.
That is like seeing your mom's nipple in a way.
Yeah, it's like that. You're just kind of like, "Bleh," like let's not go there.
That's such a funny example, Greg.
Dude.
So, all right. So can you kind of describe like the perfect sneeze in your
Okay.
eyes?
I would say, honestly, a lot of it is the buildup. So just like with sex, with a sneeze, people in the fetish community have kind of compared it to almost like an orgasm.
Okay.
Because there's like a lead up to the sneeze where like you think you're going to, and you kind of wind up.
So you enjoy the pump
expulsion.
fakes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
It is the ultimate moment of release when you think about it.
Well, doesn't like a good sneeze, it like feels good.
Oh, it feels amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there's like, it's not violent, but it's physical. Sneeze is very physical.
Absolutely. So I think people connect that. So for me, it's the build up, probably like a medium volume, and then getting that 2-syllable at you.
What about moisture or wetness?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a divisive issue in the community. I'm not okay. So the spray that comes like from your mouth, if you sneeze without covering it, I'm okay with. I don't want snot grossness.
Right. Not
Gotcha.
too much debris.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. What if someone sneezes on you?
I think I'd be super into that if it were in like a sexual position, like a sexual situation, like not like at the grocery store. I would not be into that.
Right. You'd be like,
But,
all
like,
right, chill, like not here.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, let's not.
Yeah.
But in the
Okay.
privacy
Well,
of your own home, if you are having sex with a guy and he has to sneeze, you're like, dude, blow this sneeze in my face right now.
Preferably not my face, but anything else, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there's an element of being in the mood and if you incorporate sneezing into your sex life. Like, I guess what you would call traditional penetration. I can't say that word
Why
right
are you
now.
why are you talking like
I don't know.
that?
I'm trying to like be like a scientist about sex.
Traditional penetrative sex.
Yes. So thankfully I am with someone right now that I really trust, and I like told him about it, and he is like all for wanting to incorporate it. Like kind of like in a foreplay kind of way. So that would be something that they could do just to kind of like get me in the mood for then traditional penetrative sex.
Yeah,
as you
sorry.
say.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, if this dude
But
is affected
sneezing
by
is
allergy
involuntary,
season, huh?
right? Sneezing's involuntary for the most part. So how do you incorporate something like that?
Pepper.
Yeah, there's definitely, they actually sell sneezing powder in different ways. Like usually it's for, I think like getting rid of congestion or something, but it's basically like a pepper that you can sniff that makes you sneeze.
Man, I was joking, but that's real? Wow.
Yeah, it's real.
And you've used that.
It wasn't used for that, but it
Yeah.
works. And you can also use tissues or whatever you might have around.
Yeah, because if you tickle inside of your nose, like it's gonna make you sneeze.
Mm-hmm.
So your boyfriend will indulge in this. So he'll like he'll use the pepper or whatever, and he'll start sneezing beforehand, like kind of. That's cool.
Yeah, and I mean it's nice because I mean like for him it's like, yo, this is a real easy way.
Yeah, right.
To like get you started.
I was gonna say I would be so down for that.
Right. It's just like, well, shoot, and like say my partner has allergies, he doesn't have to think he's annoying me.
Yeah.
He just gets to have fun for it.
Yeah, because usually when you start sneezing, if you sneeze like 5 times in a row, by the 5th one, everyone's like, all right, stop.
Yeah,
like
and,
no more
like,
God
I'm
bless
not-
you. But you're
me
like,
staring
fucking
creepily at you.
keep going.
You know what's bizarre? This, in my mind, it's sort of harder to connect this to sexuality or that feeling of arousal compared to some of the seemingly more crazy things we've spoken about, like a fart fetish or pee or, poop, anything. Like this is, I don't know, I guess just because it's so common, but it's so public at the same time.
So there's another layer, I think, for most people. So like the sneeze itself, I think is exciting. It's kind of like an orgasm, however you want to think about it. But for me also, I'm a very nurturing person. So for me, there's an element of like, oh, that person is now in a state of slight vulnerability for that point.
Okay.
Because like a sneeze kind of takes over you, right? And you can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
it is a very brief moment of losing control.
Yeah, and I think I'm into that.
Yeah, like there's no stopping a sneeze.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's like a vulnerability thing or if it's like kind of like a dom situation on my end. I don't really know. I just know it's something that's kind of exciting in that angle.
So is there like, so I'm trying to figure this out because usually like with something like, cause with the fart fetish specifically that we talked with someone about,
sure,
it was a submissive thing, you know, like they liked the fact that it was sort of degrading in a way, but it's hard to kind of pinpoint a sneeze and where that kind of falls.
But it doesn't have to. Like, it reminds me of the I Like to Get Peed On episode in the sense that she couldn't really explain or pinpoint an exact reason, you know, or there was no putting meaning behind something that was essentially meaningless. Like, she really just liked the feeling. She liked the sound. She liked the wetness.
That's true.
And she liked that, you know, it was something that was kind of, you know, pretty risque and private. But not even that aspect as much as literally just liking the feeling. But I get what you're saying, Joe. I mean, it's for us, it's going to be impossible to make any sort of connection, obviously. But it is really fascinating. But so you say you're 8 years old and you see people sneezing, people that you would be attracted to anyway. You're young, hormones, you're starting to kind of feel these feelings and relating it to sneezing. So as you get older, how do you continue to process this and become aware that, oh, okay, there is a connection between this feeling of arousal and people sneezing?
So weirdly enough, in middle school, I was a huge germaphobe. Like, you'd think that's the complete opposite of what it would be.
Right.
But I think I felt all these feelings and I just channeled them into kind of like, oh, this must be fear. I'm freaking out because you guys are germy. And I've actually done some research on this, and they say a lot of fetishes kind of form at that little line between fear and arousal.
Okay.
So an example they gave is like, there's a fetish for everything, but there's one where like they like the sound of balloons popping. I'm not going to throw stones at anybody's fetish here.
Right.
But that is one, and it's because of loud noises.
Okay.
So I don't know. So I channeled it into being like, I want to get away from this because I don't know what these feelings are, and I just want to shut them out. And then in high school, kind of understanding sexuality a little bit better and realizing like, no, I'm into this. I'm not freaked out by this.
So because like usually like I love hearing about fetishes and things like this, especially as, you know, unique as or weird as some people would say as they are, because
Sure.
I love the fact that you came upon this thought of being like, oh damn, no, I'm into this. And a lot of people I would say would just go like, well, I'm not going to tell anyone about it. But then you're just kind of like, dude, I'm fucking into this. And you're like, you know what I mean? And now you're practicing that. Like, I think that's so cool. Like, I just think, you know, was there a time where, you know, you kind of suppressed it and you were like, oh no, this is too weird. I'm not going to like bring this up or whatever. Or you just been owning it ever since?
No, I would think at first I was like, man, this is weird. I don't know why I'm feeling that way. But thank God for Google, because I kind of like, you know, typed it in because I was kind of like, well, maybe if I like listen to some sneezes, you know, I'm just kind of interested. And then I stumbled upon a whole sneeze fetish like website. So that made me kind of feel like, oh, well, it's not just me. Could be a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you did find a community behind this? Yes,
I did. We're out there.
Can you describe that a little? So you found a website, you kind of stumbled upon this community. Is this a big community? What type of material is out there?
So it's, you know, I don't know numbers wise, it seems pretty big. And so it's a whole website dedicated to the sneeze fetish. And there's people on it, mostly anonymous, but from all over the world. A weird amount in England I've seen on this site. I don't know what that means, but
okay.
And this website is a place where you can post topics that you want to talk about the fetish. You can post stories that you've written. There's a lot of like fan fiction on it and like artwork.
Fan fiction about sneezing.
Yeah. So people can take, we just talked about how movies and TV don't have enough sneezing in it. Well, people can write fan fictions that throw in the storylines that they want to hear.
They're just adding sneezes into like Macbeth. And
Yeah.
Because even a book, like I doubt you're going to come across many instances of a super well described, detailed sneeze in a book. If an author would ever even mention that someone sneezes, because it's probably irrelevant to anything happening in the book.
It's usually like a plot device to say, oh, they're about to die of this plague or something.
Right.
That ruins it, So,
and you're like, I enjoyed it until you mentioned polio. So
yeah, it's like, great, thanks. But yeah, they can write their own stories, and it can be just fun stories that they write, or it could even be a lot of it can be sexual erotica too, so people can explore that.
So is this a community that you do you log on like every day and kind of keep up, and like do you have friends on there?
So I would say it really depends. Now that I have a boyfriend, I don't log on as much because I've got something in real life,
right?
But especially when I was single, I logged on, at least once a week to kind of read the different stories, things like that. And I definitely have made friends in the community, which is interesting.
Are these stories we'd be able to get a glimpse of or like hear? Like, are you able to go onto the site and read from any of them?
Absolutely. Let me look here. So they've actually, honestly, shout out to whoever the administrators are of this website, because it's really well organized between what you want to read. Like if you want to read topics people are talking about, there's a whole section about like, oh, I saw this sneeze on YouTube or in the media, and here's what I thought about it, and everything else. So I think I wrote in my email that, they definitely talk about Joe's sneezes on there too. You're not immune.
I'm on the sneeze site.
Yes.
I mean, I'm honored because, sometimes my sneezes are I have a very random sneeze. Like it's not always the same. It's like a snowflake. Like every time
I'm not being a hater here, but you've had weak sneezes around me. I'm shocked that you're on this website.
Greg's just jealous.
No, you had a really weak sneezes.
No one likes his sneezes, and I don't even know if I've ever heard Greg sneeze.
Well, I looked for other people's lives mentions on there, and I didn't see any. But so maybe he needs to step it up.
Well, hopefully the site will post this episode on there because we're in depth right now with someone who is locked into the community here.
Absolutely. Well, they gave you shout outs because when they say, okay, I found Joe Santagato sneezes, they'll be like, oh, it says, I'm reading off of it, it says, Joe Santagato creates great content on YouTube. Here are some places where he sneezes. Tell me what you think.
Wow.
Which did I get like a 1 out of 10 or like
what are people saying about this?
People were into it.
Nice.
Right?
Wow.
They were into it. Some people said, obviously, I think a couple of them were exaggerated on purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
But they were like, yeah, I'm into this. But everybody seemed to kind of already know you, which was interesting. So you've got a following there.
Damn, I'm in with the sneezing people.
You know what? I changed what I said. I'm proud of you, man.
Thank
I'm proud.
You.
That's
Thank
cool.
You. I worked really hard to get where I am, like the sneezing, I'm trying to work my way up the ranks here.
No, it shows. I mean, your apartment's dusty, it's filthy, you've done a lot to get to this point, to sneeze all the time.
Oh man. Yeah, I've had really bad allergies this year. There was days where I just can't stop sneezing. So
even just this conversation would make it on the website.
That's great.
I guess just talking about sneezing, right?
I hope I sneeze at some point during this conversation.
Yeah, it's like a little foreplay for them. They're like, okay, he didn't sneeze, but he talked about it. They'll post that.
So let me ask you a question, because before you talked about like the buildup, where like people are like, like trying to sneeze. What happens to those sneezes? Like, how does it make you feel with the sneezes that never quite make it? Because are those good or bad?
It's some people like it. I'm just annoyed. I'm mad at the letdown. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
It's like exciting, but
it's like edging. Yeah.
Yes. I was gonna say it's like porn where the person never like orgasms and you're just like, oh come on.
Yeah. Wow.
So wow, I'm really interested in this community. What is the website if there's anyone listening that's interested in finding this?
Yeah, so it's Sneeze Fetish Forum. It's either .com or .org. I'm not sure, but you can type it into Google and you'll be able to find it.
Sneezefetishforum.com.
Perfect. And they are about being safe. So if you do want to access the like rated R section, you have to sign in and prove your age and things like that.
Okay.
But otherwise, you can lurk around and read all of the other stories and topics and things like that they have up there.
Interesting. Yeah, I just clicked on sneezing in the media, so I'm assuming this is finding people. Oh yeah, they have like links here to YouTube videos, newscasters.
So I have a question. So
Sure.
usually, like sometimes people are into stuff like, oh, let's, like people having sex outdoors, like in public, like because there's a risk of getting caught. So do people with a sneeze fetish enjoy when people sneeze in times where they're not supposed to, like for instance a news anchor where they're giving like the news that night and they have a sneeze like that they have to do? Is that like better?
Absolutely. There's like I think it's like, you know, I said it's a good sneeze, it makes them a little bit vulnerable, but definitely some of my favorite videos that I've watched are places where there's like a sneezing fit where they don't really want one, so there's like they're just a little bit like embarrassed. It's just kind of exciting. It makes me sound kind of sadistic actually now that I'm saying it out loud, but
yeah,
but I like it. So
Okay.
definitely that can be one.
Interesting.
But
Wow.
everybody likes a different angle. You know, some people are like, oh, I only like allergic sneezes because if they're sick it ruins it, and some people are like, I only like it if they're sick and the allergies ruin it, and everything in between. So they have opinions.
Guys,
Gotcha.
I've watched like 7 sneeze videos while you've been talking. That I just found. I'm in the messy sneezes category.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You need to get out of there.
What is
Yeah,
it?
there's a lot of snot. Messy sneezes.
Oh, messy sneezes.
I don't go there.
But this is super organized. This is really cool to see. They have audio files, messy sneeze section, the media one, like I said. I guess people writing their own stories.
You know what?
Wow.
And like this, I mean, I've learned this just from doing the show as long as we have, and just talking to people and just, you know, kind of hearing about how there's like these websites and communities. It's really wild how we're all connected in a way of like even these very unique things. Like there's other people out there and they find each other, you know?
Absolutely. And there's been like some people are more interested in being anonymous than others, so I know that there's been like meetups or people have like met boyfriends and girlfriends through it, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's a good way to
Yeah.
find somebody else with your fetish.
There's people out there having sex and sneezing all over each other out there.
There is.
No, yeah, this is whoa. Okay, guys, I clicked into fan fiction.
Oh God.
Yeah.
This is so interesting. It's so someone wrote just a whole story, 2 characters. It says original fiction, and it's just about 2 people. It's about a guy named Ethan, and he's sick. It says NyQuil never worked as well for Ethan as it did for Tim. The sneezes always broke through.
I've read that one.
I've read that one. That's great.
Swallowing, he realized not only did the sneeze do nothing to alleviate the burning tickle, although he was no longer on the verge of sneezing, his ears itched, the roof of his mouth itched, and his eyes were beginning to itch. The sneeze wasn't from his cold. His spring allergies had decided
Why
to
are
show
you
up.
reading it in this like way, like this?
You
tone?
gotta read it in the seduction way.
Yeah, like,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
the itch and the tickle.
Yeah, that's how it's written.
I know, but you went into this whole like very Shakespearean way of going about it.
This is interesting. I'll stop read. I will stop reading too because I apologize. To be honest, this is your thing, so I'm like sorry for reading that without permission. To be honest, but wow, yeah, it goes on for a long time, and there's a lot of sneezing going on. There's a lot of chewing. Wow.
The way they spell it is really important. People will be like, wow, I really like the way you spelled those. So people have opinions, man.
Wait, really? They like the way you spell a sneeze?
Yeah, because when you're reading fan fiction, you're kind of like imagining it since, you know, you can't see it. So the way they spell it will sound different, like a different kind of sneeze in your brain.
That's so It's like so fascinating to me that like triggers people. You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
you know,
jealous.
and there's a lot of, you know, YouTube videos if people do want to hear stuff. You know, YouTube videos that are anonymous, sometimes they show their face or not. So just depends on if you like reading it or seeing it.
Wow. This is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of this with us, because this is a whole new world that has opened up for us.
Well, I know from experience when I told my boyfriend, like, you never think of sneezing the same again once you like sneeze out in public.
No, next time I see someone sneeze, like if I'm on like a subway or something, I'm going to be looking around for everyone else and see how they react to the sneeze.
Anybody into it?
Yeah, she's
Because
like,
I
"Who's
do
horny?"
wonder how common it is. So is this something that you feel for the rest of your life you have to incorporate into your relationships, your sex life, having a boyfriend, you know, in the future, or, I mean, with your current boyfriend, there has to be sneezing?
I don't think there has to be in my sex life, at least. I want there to be, but there doesn't have to be. But it would be really sad if just like out and about, if you wouldn't like, see, part of the fun is like, say he accidentally sneezes at dinner, he'll look up at me and like wink at me because he knows.
Ooh,
Right.
That's a sexy
know?
move.
That's hot.
That is,
You know?
yeah. Oh man, that even got me. I was like, damn, this dude knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so it's like, it's kind of like illicit because you're not going to do anything about it out in public, and it's not anything sexual for other people, but he knows it is for me.
Wow.
I'd also be so happy if I was him. Like, I have a sneezing fit at dinner. I'm like, yes, tonight is going to be a good night.
Yeah, exactly. Something so easy that he, you know, would have done anyway.
Oh man, do you tell your friends or family or anything, or do you kind of keep this for your relationships?
I've told my best friend only because I had accidentally said that I had a fetish and he wouldn't let it go until I told him.
He's probably shocked when he heard what it was.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
like,
he thought it
what
was
is it,
hilarious.
feet? No.
Yeah.
He laughed for about, you know, the rest of the night, I think. But in a nice way, like best friends do.
Right.
Right.
But I don't think I'd tell anybody else or my family, partially because, like, I don't want to talk about my sex life with my family,
Yeah.
and partially because it makes it real awkward if someone sneezes.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
imagining that. Like, it would be so weird for just be, like your whole family knows, and then your dad sneezes at the dinner table, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't."
Everybody stares at you.
Yeah, and they're like, "I'm sorry." It's just and they think that you're over there like losing your mind. So like you're like, "All right, no."
Yeah, I have a good friend that sneezes a lot from allergies, and like you know, he's my good friend. He has a wife, so it's like I'm shutting it down. But if they knew, it would be really awkward every time.
That's
Right,
so
right.
funny.
But like you said in the beginning, it's you still have to have an attraction for the person. It's not like every sneeze out there is just getting you going, no matter who the person
So I
is.
will say, like, somebody ugly with a really great sneeze might make me think twice about it.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
But again, it still has to be in that age group, that general, you know, male, straight, whatever.
That is so interesting, man. Like a sneeze, like he's not the best looking, but man, he's got a sneeze on him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That's really
So-
cool.
But there is a question that we have to ask.
Okay.
We are going through a pandemic, COVID. Everyone has masks on. Sneezes are the last thing you want to be around for most
This
people.
has ruined everything.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like, legitimately, there's posts on that forum about it. The good thing, sneezing is not a big symptom.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So if it was like a cough fetish, man, I'd be ruined. But like, so sneezing's not a big thing. We just really try not to talk about it. But
Right.
yeah, it really puts a damper on things right now.
And I have another
on top of
question.
everything else.
So
Yes.
if your boyfriend has allergies and he's like, "Oh, I just really got to take like an Allegra right now," you're like, "Wait, don't though."
I absolutely have thought that. And would have been like, what if you like wait an extra
Yeah,
hour,
just like
though?
put the Claritin down and maybe just fight it with your normal immune system.
Yeah, like I usually don't because, you know, I love him and don't want him to be uncomfortable. But also, what if you didn't though?
Right.
That is
that
so
is great.
funny. Wow. So you seem really content with this. It seems like a positive for the most part. I can't really think of too many negatives unless, there are that we're not aware of.
So I will say one thing is really positive, but it's also a double-edged sword. So think of it this way. You're out and about and it's pollen season. You're basically like living a live porn for free. You're just out and about enjoying stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So that can be great. Or if you're trying to work at an office and people are sneezing every 5 minutes around you, it can be very distracting because you're like, I'm not into this right now. Can we just...
Right.
Yeah, because there is a time and a place for things that cause arousal. You don't want that all the time. That honestly is tough. I do wonder, I don't know if you've ever spoken to your boyfriend about this. Does he get like super jealous if you're out and someone sneezes around you?
Yes, he has mentioned that.
I feel like I would have to think about that.
Yeah. I had an ex, so the only two boyfriends I've told is my current and then one before that. And the one before that, this one, this guy is great and isn't super jealous, but like if we go out and somebody's sneezing right next to me and I bless them, I get a little bit of like bristling. I can tell because they know it means more to me.
Right.
Because they know it means more to me. That is a classic line. Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's a new thing to navigate in a relationship.
Just
that
like,
a lot
God
of people don't
bless
have to
you
do.
and also thank you.
Yeah.
Made my
It's
night.
like, oh, so you blessed him twice, but you only blessed me once?
Yeah.
Is that how it is?
Right.
God bless you, but I'm not interested. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Anything that you have to say to people who might be listening that are experiencing this? Because from our experience, every time we do an episode that we think like we never thought this would have existed, we then get follow-up emails. We get people telling us, thank you for doing this. I experienced the same thing. So I'm assuming there's someone listening right now who is experiencing this fetish. But more specifically, if there's anyone who is kind of on the verge of this or maybe doesn't know how to take the next steps to fully embrace it, do you have anything to say to them?
Yeah, I would just say, explore either the Sneeze Fetish Forum website or, videos, things like that to see if there's something really specific that you like. Because like I said, like for me, messy sneezes are like a huge turnoff. So if they've only seen that, they may not be sure what they like. So if they do some research and find what they like, I think I've established that I think it's a pretty fun thing. And most people, if I tell them in a relationship, they think it's a really fun thing. So if they can find that, it's great.
You seem really happy about it, so that's really good to hear.
Yeah, this has been a really fun episode. I appreciate you coming on and kind of talking to us about this and like educating, honestly, because I feel like I've learned so much about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was great. Like I said, I've listened to this show for a little while and I knew I was sitting on one, but I'm like, oh my God, I got to tell them about this.
Well, we
thank
appreciate
you for
you
doing
taking the dive and coming on and telling us about it. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
You know what? I really enjoyed that episode and talking to her. Like, she was a lot of fun, I feel like.
No, she was great. I think there's got to be some pleasure in having a fetish that is so accessible.
Yeah, because you can't fight it. Like, it's not like a foot fetish, right? Because a foot fetish doesn't mean you like walk around, like you don't see everyone's feet, but people are sneezing out there.
Yeah.
And they can't help but sneeze.
Yes. That's actually the hardest part about it. But I meant to be in a relationship, because it's one thing to say to your boyfriend, like, hey, I'm going to need you to pee on me. I'm going to need you to slap me until I have handprints on my face. It's, you might have to navigate a little more to find the person who's truly into that. But sneezing? I just don't think a lot of people would say no to that if they knew that their partner was turned on by
Oh, hell no. I'd be like, yo, get the pepper. Let's get the pepper in here.
Yeah.
I'll start sneezing like crazy. You know what I'm saying? You get a cat in here. Listen, I'm definitely allergic. Not definitely, but I'm like very allergic to cats. If some girl, like if you're dating some girl, she's got a cat. For me, hypothetically, dating some girl who has a cat, she'll love me if she's got a sneeze fetish because I'm sneezing all over that place.
if you were dating the girl we just spoke to and she knew that, she'd come home with like 6 cats too.
Yeah.
She'd be like, but they needed a home.
She's like, great, I just adopted 9 cats.
Yeah.
So my throat would also close and I'd have to sleep on the patio, but you know. But yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, like I said earlier in the episode, like I always find it very awesome when, you know, we hear about fetishes, and fetishes for the most part are just like these weird things, like not in a bad way, but they are weird, like they're abnormal things. And it's so awesome that people figure them out and they go, oh man, I'm actually really into this. And then they continue to practice them, because I feel like a lot of people like suppress things, you know, like, or they don't want to have the conversation with their partner of being like, hey, I'm actually into this sort of thing, because they think it's weird, or they think their partner would have a weird reaction. But for her to just be like, yo, I'm into like sneezing, you know, like that's a big one, you know, because it is a very strange one. It's not a popular one. Like a foot fetish I would consider like a popular one. Right. So it's not like that. It's like a weird one where you're kind of like, I need you to sneeze. And the guy's like, all right, I don't really know why, but I'll do it. But you know, like it's just cool.
Just leaning in fully and owning it and not questioning it too much, or thinking, okay, what's wrong with me compared to other people, or worrying too much about the judgment. Understandably, I get why she doesn't tell her family or too many people, because you don't want them to feel weird when they sneeze, which still would be an like over exaggeration on their part. But it's just like, there's nothing wrong with me. This is how I operate. This is how I work. Just take it.
I'm just psyched that I'm part of this community somehow.
I hope we end up on the website now.
I hope we end up on the website too. I hope they like this episode of us talking about it, because
I'm not gonna. I can't force a sneeze. I was thinking about getting pepper, but like I'm not gonna do that. But it would have been funny if one of us sneezed.
Yeah, it would have. And I've literally, I'm not even lying. Like I said earlier, my allergies have been terrible, so I've been sneezing all the time.
I mean, dude, you're famous in the sneeze community already.
Apparently,
so.
I'm out here and I got great sneezes. But I was well, you know, received by the people, so I'm excited.
Does it make you feel any way to know for a fact that you're on this website, that people are watching, they're commenting, and who knows what else they're doing to your sneeze videos? No. Is that like strange to you at all?
No, go crazy, dude. Like I'm all about it. Like just go wild. You know what I'm saying? Nice. Like as long as it's not like weird invasive stuff, like they're trying to secretly record a sneeze, like weird shit like that. But it's like, yo, I'm sneezing on the basement yard, bro. Watch it on loop, jerk off to it. I don't care. Like, go crazy.
It's a free sneeze. It's a public sneeze.
It's a public sneeze. Any private sneezes, don't dig into my private sneezes. But, you know,
right.
My public sneezes, go crazy with them. I don't care.
I can't wait until the next time I sneeze, because I'm going to have so many thoughts.
I already know. This is how Greg operates. Greg's going to sneeze, and then he's going to text me, and he's going to go, yo, just sneezed. And I'll be like, that's great.
I'm going to send you a video. I'm going to start recording when I feel it coming on.
Greg's going to start posting himself sneezing because he wants to get on the site.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, but no, that was a fun episode. But yeah, always cool to hear about a new fetish and whatnot. But yeah, shout out to her. She was really awesome to talk to. If anyone out there wants to come on the show, don't hesitate to reach out. If you think you have something that fits for the show, go to oplshow.com/contact, fill out the form, send us an email. And if we think it works, we'll send you an email back and we'll schedule something.
Yep. And another shout out before we end to the patrons out there. The community is growing. There's a ton of content. If you're not a patron now and you sign up, you'll get a ton of bonus episodes. We've recorded a few recently that we have out now. We did a follow-up with the I Think My Dad Killed My Sister guest, and there's some updates on that case, which is really interesting. We did a follow-up with the woman who hadn't told her husband that her baby isn't his, and she has since told him. We have a really cool ghost episode up. There's a ton of bonus content that you guys can get if you want more episodes, and you can go to patreon.com/OPL show. Check us out on Instagram, where we post clips at OPL Podcast, and that is all for this week.
Yep, that is all. See you guys next time.